I think it's time to talk about new gear for the new year. What's going on, guys? John Kelly here, and today we're going to talk about new gear that I'm planning to use for 2021. If you're new to the channel, this channel's all about hiking, backpacking gear, tips, tricks, and ways to enhance the backpacking experience. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell right down here so you find out anytime one of these videos drops. Quick disclaimer. I was planning on doing a lot of hiking this year, a lot of trips planned, a lot of things ready to go, and got new gear ready. This video has been planned for a while, and then this weekend happened. You see, this past weekend I got to go backpacking with my friend Josh, who I've been on several trips over the last year with. And while we were hiking, we came up on this boulder in the trail, and I decided to climb up onto the boulder and jump off. And when I did, the bottom half of my leg decided it wanted to go to the right, and the top half of my left leg decided it wanted to go to the left. Long story short, it didn't end well. Now, common sense would say turn around, go back, get in your car and go home. I tried to be a tough guy, so I hiked the next 7 miles up to our campsite, including one monstrous climb that just about destroyed me. Crossing my fingers, hoping I didn't tear anything, but I do know that I've done some major damage to my knee, so it looks like at least for a month or two, if not longer, I may not be doing any backpacking. But when I do, this gear that I'm talking about today is what I'm taking with me out on the trail. I can also say I've already taken this gear out in 2021 because every piece of gear I'm talking about today, minus one, I've already taken out this year. Get ready, strap yourselves in, and here's my list of new gear for 2021. The first new piece of gear I'm going to be using this year is this Underquilt cover from Hammock Gear. This was a gift from Backpacking with Jason Waugh. He gave one of these to myself and to Jeremiah Stringer, and I've never really thought about buying one, but now that I have one, I can't believe I never bought one before. An Underquilt cover is very simple. It's just a cover that you put under your underquilt when you set up your hammock. What this does is it protects it from moisture, from mud, from dirt, from dust, but what it also does is it traps heat underneath it, or I should say above it, underneath your underquilt, so that your underquilt has a better chance of retaining its warmth. I got to use this past weekend in the Red River Gorge. Temperatures dipped into the high 20s. I was using an underquilt from UGQ that was rated at 40 degrees. I put this on my underquilt. I stayed warm the entire night. These things are really great. It weighs in at 6.7 ounces, so it's not super heavy, but it's winter backpacking, and in winter backpacking, you're gonna carry extra weight, so this was great. I think anytime I know I'm gonna be in a major downpour or I'm gonna be in colder weather, this is gonna go with me on every single one of those trips. For the last 3 years, I've only been using one kind of filter, and that is the Sawyer Squeeze. This year, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna use the Katadyn Bee-Free filter. I know this is kind of a controversial filter, if there's such a thing as a controversial water filter. It weighs in at about 1.8 ounces, and it has an insane flow rate. But one of the things that I've heard from a lot of people is that it gets clogged up really quick. So I'm being very intentional about how I take care of this filter. I'm being sure to always rinse it out the way it says on the box. I'm making sure that at all costs, I keep this thing cleaned out, because for the size, it only weighs 1.8 ounces. Super lightweight, it's really short, and when it's in the bag, you've only got about 1.5 inches of a filter sticking out, whereas with the Sawyer Squeeze, you've got this whole filter hanging out the side of your bag. The flow rate is great, you can drink straight from it, but I'm not gonna use the water bag that comes with it. Instead, I am going to use the Hydrapak Seeker 3-liter water bag. I was turned on to this by Miyagi on the trail when we were in Grayson Highlands this past year. And when I was in Alabama getting ready to hike with Crowflies Hiking, I saw this at a local REI and decided to go ahead and pick up this bag and the water filter. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the water bag for multiple reasons. Reason number one, it's a 3-liter bag. I can totally camel up when I'm using this in the backcountry, especially in the hot summer days when you're gonna have a long distance between water sources. You can load this thing up with water. and I love that. It's going to be very useful, especially in hotter weather or in areas where you just don't have a lot of water sources. The second reason I love this is for these little areas where you can strap any kind of cordage onto these. You can actually hang this from your pack on the side using these. It's really cool, just something you can hang your bag from. There's one right up here on the top, and you've got two along the side. And what I saw from backpacking with Miyagi was he actually strapped these two to a tree and was able to turn this into a gravity feed system, which I thought was ingenious. Big fan of the bag. It's made a lot like your Canuck Vecto bags. Very similar material. The nice thing though is you've got this one opening and one opening only. You don't have a slider on the back and a knob on the front. You just have this knob and a wider opening that works with the bee-free filter, which I love this. I was afraid it wasn't going to be as easy to get water in this as it was in my Vecto, but I found really no problems because the opening is so much bigger. I don't have to get a scoop of any kind to put water in the bag. I can literally just scoop the water with this, and it does a fantastic job. Weighing it at 3.1 ounces, this is not a super heavy piece of gear, and I'm really excited about getting to use it some more. I've already taken it out on a couple trips and have found this to be a fantastic water bag. Plan on using this for the foreseeable future. As long as the bee-free filters don't fail me, I can't see myself changing from this one. Since 2016, I've always been using these Sea to Summit collapsible mugs. I'm a big fan of them. They're huge, they're lightweight, super easy to use, but there's always been one problem using these. My coffee gets cold. There's nothing worse than getting a hot cup of coffee, putting it in your cup, and 2 minutes later, it's already cold. And using this cup, that's what I found. I've never been able to keep a cup of coffee warm. So I've decided to ditch this cup and move on to something new. So now I'm using the GSI Infinity coffee mug. I love this thing. It's an insulated coffee mug. It only weighs 3.6 ounces, so it's not super heavy. It's nice in the hands. It fits really well. You've got this little handle on the side. Really like the mug, but the thing where this shines is it's dual purpose. One, obviously, use it as a coffee mug. You've got your lid that can go on it, and you're gonna keep your coffee warm longer, which obviously that's a big deal to me, which is the reason I moved away from the other cup. But the other thing that's great about this is that you can take off your insulation, and inside, right here along the edge of the cup, you've got measurements. Why I love this, when I get my pot out and I try and fill it with water, it's just hard sometimes to see those little notches that are in the pot telling you how much water is in your pot. To be able to put the water in this and then simply pour that into my pot is about 1,000 times better. And so I'm super excited about being able to use this to help when I'm cooking, when I'm rehydrating meals. Just being able to have this as kind of a measuring cup is fantastic. Plus, I love any kind of gear that has a dual purpose. In the summer of 2019, my feet had grown an entire size and I needed to change shoes, and I decided to start using this new kind of shoe that came out from Saucony called the Mad River TRs. Well, after using them for a year and completely wearing them out, I mean using them on every trip, several different states backpacking, finally the heels, the fabric had started to wear off and it was time to get a new pair of shoes. So for 2021, I'm gonna be using the Mad River TR2s. Sorry they look so gross right now. I had these out in the Red River Gorge this past weekend and it was just mud everywhere. So they are pretty gross. But I will tell you, there will be a full review of this coming soon. I love these shoes. These are as comfortable as any shoe I wear every day in my house, at work, just doing whatever it is I do all day. I was shocked when I put these on at how comfortable they were. You've still got that incredible aggressive tread on the bottom. You still have the ability to put in screws and things to add for ice traction. You've still got vent holes that you can drill in. It still has all the great features of the Mad River TR1s, but the upper is more comfortable. The stack height is just a little higher and gives you a little more cushion when you're hiking on the trail. It still has an extremely wide toe box. I'm just a big fan of these shoes. Like I said, they're kind of gross right now because I've been hiking in mud all weekend. But I will continue to use these for the entirety of 2021, and hopefully they'll last me into 2022. But I am a big fan of the SAUCONY Mad River TR2s. Now it's time for the big one. Last year, I decided in my 2020 new gear video that I was going to use a brand new backpack. I was going to use the ULA CDT, and I tried it. And after a few months, I did not like it. So I ended up selling the backpack and went back to my ULA Ohm 2.0, which I still think is one of the greatest backpacks that you could possibly own. You can see it sitting right back here behind me, and it will get used again. But for 2021, I'm trying out a completely new backpack, and it's probably one you've never heard of before. This year I'm going to be using the Chicken Tramper Ultralight Gear 45 liter pack. I got to use this past weekend, and I can't tell you how excited I am about moving forward with this. This weighs in at about 31 ounces, and then when you add your sit pad in the back, it adds another 1.5 ounces to it, so you're sitting right around 2 pounds. It is a carbon framed backpack. It says 45 liters, but this thing feels like it's so much bigger. Just a few quick things that I love about it is this pocket in the front. The way it's made, you've got the X pack here in the bottom with the netting above, and you're able to actually fit a ton of gear in here without having to worry about how full it is on the inside. With my Ohm 2.0, it was always kind of a struggle if the pack was too full trying to shove stuff down into that front pocket because the mesh could only open so far. And so with this, you've always got space to put things down inside of this pocket. I really like that. Another thing I like about it is there's areas right here for 2 full-sized 1 liter bottles. You can put those right there as well as other gear. You've got these lashes up here where you can lash things to that. Big fan of that. It's got really nice, comfortable shoulder straps. And one of the things that you'll notice is there are no hip belt pockets. This one's new for me. The reason it's new for me is because there's one other thing this year that I'm going to be trying for the first time ever, and that's fanny packs. This year, because I don't have hip belt pockets on my backpack, I'm going to be giving the fanny back chilies, fanny back ribs, barbecue sauce. Because my backpack doesn't have hip belt pockets, I'm going to have to give fanny packs a try. It was something I've kind of made fun of in the past and kind of joked about. I know we've joked about it on the Backpacking Podcast, which if you don't know about the Backpacking Podcast, check it out on all your favorite podcast platforms so that you can check in on myself and Jeremiah Stringer and all of the stuff that we're talking about. Each of these fanny packs have a lot of promise for me. This one is made by Hilltop Packs, which, as you know, I'm a huge Hilltop Packs fan. They make my food bag, my electronics bag, several other stuff sacks that I use. They make a killer backpack called the Raven, and right now in prototype, they've got a 30-liter backpack that they're working on made out of X-Pack, and which is different because Hilltop Packs is pretty much Dyneema, kind of like this fanny pack. This fanny pack is different from the one by Chicken Tramper Ultralight Gear because of the simple fact that it's a roll top. So basically, you control how much room is in this fanny pack. You've got a snap enclosure on the top, so it's real easy to close up, and then roll it down to whatever you need. If you need it here, you got about a 4-liter fanny pack. Roll down a little bit more, you got about a 3-liter fanny pack. Roll down some more, you got a 2-liter fanny pack. That alone is really interesting to me to see how I like that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like the crinkle that Dyneema makes when you use it. I do like the fact that Dyneema is one of the most water-resistant fabrics you can find. I have one friend who took this down to Arkansas, and he said when he came back, he's a full-blown believer. So we'll see what I think about the Hilltop Packs fanny pack as the year goes on. The other fanny pack I'm going to be using is from Chicken Tramper Ultralight Gear, the people who made the backpack that I'm going to be using this year. The differences between this one and the one from Hilltop Packs, the back is a little more cushioned. I really like that. I like the feel of that. I don't know if it's gonna matter when I'm backpacking or not, but I do like it. Also, the front is a zipper instead of a roll top. It is a water-resistant YKK zipper, and on the inside, you've got a couple little pockets where you can put snacks or batteries or whatever you feel like putting in there, and then whatever else you want right in here. It's about a 2.5-liter fanny pack. I took it with me this past week. I kept a knit hat and a pair of gloves in there. I kept a couple snacks in there and some other video stuff. and it seemed to do really well. It's made out of X-Pack material instead of Dyneema. It's not Dyneema as far as the water resistance, but X-Pack is extremely water resistant as well and very, very durable. So I am interested to see how both of these work. The jury's out on which one I'm going to use following this year, but I'm definitely going to give both a try this summer. As I'm using this new backpack, I'm going to have to start using fanny packs. So what new gear are you using for 2021? I'm always looking for new gear ideas, and I would love to know what you guys are using. If you found any value in the video, give it the old thumbs up, and check me out on Instagram where you can find out all kinds of stuff about my trips that I'll be doing, my rehab on my knee that's now a thing. You can also find updates on the Backpacking Podcast with myself and Jeremiah Stringer. So until next time, stay strong, hike long, and I'll catch you on the next go round.